What is going on, everybody? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone, and we're going to do something a little different. We are going to take all of the random parts that you see here, and we're going to follow their journey from this pile of parts to a finished pickup, explaining along the way what every little piece of this particular Telecaster bridge pickup, how it works, where it fits, and what it does, and how it becomes that pile of stuff into a regular working pickup. So in the past, we have done these various videos that were like, this pickup versus that pickup, this. But what I was thinking I would do is have a series of videos, and they're not going to be one right after the other, but I'm going to try to do as many of them as I can over the next couple of months. So make sure you subscribe and like and hit the bell and all that stuff so you don't miss them, because we're going to go one at a time through the major kinds of pickups that we make. Starting with the Telecaster pickup, and then we'll probably go to the neck one, and we'll do a Strat, maybe we'll do a humbucker. Let me know if there's a pickup that you want to see in particular, from where it starts as a pile of parts and how it becomes a pickup every little step of the way. So let's jump right into this one. First component is going to be magnets. Here we predominantly use Alnico 5 rod magnets. They come in a couple of different measurements: 0.187 diameter and 0.195 inch diameter. For you metric folks, I'm sorry, but that's just how they come. And then they come in different lengths. And these are the measurements that make a big difference in how a pickup sounds. The diameter of magnet that you choose, as well as the length of the magnet that you choose. Anywhere from, like 0.630 inches up to 0.710 and everywhere in between. Going from a 0.630 magnet to a 0.650 magnet changes the entire height of the pickup, changes the coil dimension as we get into wire in a minute. Crazy. But they come in this big tub. Well, it comes in bags, and then I pour it in this tub. They are not magnetized yet, and later on in the process, we will show you how we do that. The first two parts to come together of this pickup are going to be the magnets, as well as this black flat work that you see on the top or the bottom of a Strat pickup or a Tele pickup, this being a Tele bridge pickup. This is a phenolic material that is made of basically paper and then impregnated with various materials, rubber and whatever else, glue and a bunch of stuff. Anyway, it's compressed so that it stays together. It doesn't rip together, but it is a paper product. And then it gets pressed together. Typically, they're either stamped or cut out with a laser. They come in a couple of different thicknesses. On a Tele bridge pickup, you're going to have like 90 thousandths on the bottom, and you're going to have like 70 thousandths on the top. And then, of course, I have them cut to my specifications with the right diameters where the magnets go in. And here is how the magnets come together with the phenolic material called the flatwork. Our next component to get added into the mix is obviously going to be coil wire. So this is going to be the wire that you wrap around the coil that obviously ultimately makes it into a pickup. This is 43 gauge wire. We typically use this on neck pickups for Telecasters. And then we also have 42 gauge wire that we'll probably be putting on one of these as we make a pickup in this video. So now we have a pressed together bobbin. Then we have the coil wire that goes on the outside. You can see how thin it is. It's like as thin as a hair, and it breaks that easy. So let's go ahead and get some of this onto a coil. The next component that we're going to add to the Telecaster bridge pickup is going to be the hookup wire. So this is a cloth covered pre-tinned wire. So the reason I like using it, it's not for any tonal anything. You can pretty much use any reasonable wire to hook a pickup up to the guitar. There's a lot of myths surrounding that, but it doesn't really matter. This doesn't sound more vintage or anything than any other wire that has plastic on it. What I do like about it is because it's pre-tinned, it stays where you put it, so it makes it a little neater inside the guitar, and it makes it also easier because you don't have to strip it. You just push back. They call it cloth pushback wire because you can just push it back a little bit. So we'll add this to the pickup so that we can hook it up to the guitar. So now that we have the coil wound, we have the lead wires hooked up. This is typically when I go ahead and magnetize the magnets because they have not been magnetized up to this point. We've got two strong magnets in a vise. We set it to the depth that we want. We pick the polarity that we want. Now, our pickups, we typically wind, reverse polarity. We could make another video about that if you want. But basically, we pass this in between those two magnets until the magnetism is strong enough for my liking. And I have a Gauss meter that I can use to make sure that the magnets are getting to the numbers that I like, that I kind of spec for this particular pickup. Now, in a Telecaster bridge pickup, it has a metal plate on the bottom. And this is what we know and love to make our Telecaster bridge pickup sound the way it sounds. Now, there's a common misconception about this, that people think that this plate is actually brass, but it is not. It is also not copper. For the sound of the pickup to be affected, it needs to be a magnetic material, so it's actually steel. So these on a legit Telecaster pickup always have a steel base plate. Now, some of them are copper plated. A lot of them are copper plated. But at the beginning, in the early 50s, mid 50s, they were still using plain steel with no copper. So we use the plain steel ones with no copper. We could get all down a rabbit hole about what difference that makes and if it does make it, but it doesn't really matter because we engineer around it and the pickup sounds good, so it doesn't matter. So then the next thing we need to do, now that we have the plate on the bottom of the pickup, we need to wax pot the pickup so that it does not become microphonic. Some pickups, this is way more important than others, and a Telecaster bridge pickup is definitely one of those. If there is no wax between the flatwork and the steel plate, then what can happen is the steel plate can vibrate independent of the strings in a different frequency of the strings and cause feedback or a squeal or some sort of weird other noises that you don't want your guitar to make. So we're going to go ahead and heat paraffin wax. We use paraffin. We don't use any beeswax. That's a whole nother myth ball game that you can go down a whole rabbit hole, but you don't need to use beeswax. You can use paraffin. We use it. We heat it to about 145 degrees or so, and then we dip this in it until the bubbles stop, and then we pull it out. Once we pull it out of the wax, we wipe it all down, and then we add tape to the outside of the pickup just to protect the coils so that when you're handling it, you're less prone to do damage to it. And that is basically a completed Telecaster bridge pickup. Not very hard, but just a lot to know and a lot to understand about the height and how much wire you're going to use and how strong the magnets you're going to use and all those kind of things. But we've got this pretty consistent. This is a particular model that we have, our flat 6 Telecaster bridge pickup. You can find it down below. We'll leave a link to it. And that's it. And we do this and we do all kinds of other stuff. So in our next one of these videos, we will do the neck pickup for the Telecaster because it's a little bit different. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you check out the rest of our videos too. We got live streams on Thursday. We got videos come out on Monday. Some come out on Saturdays. We also have gear news every Wednesday. That's really fun. So thanks for hanging out, man. Let's do this again soon. We'll see you in the next one.